Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for the challenge, Ride or Die, one or the other. Episode 2, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, hey, hey.
We are dual recording tonight. We are basically recording on the interface itself and on the computer to try to figure out.
And then we're dueling each other.
Yeah, trying to figure out why at the last 10 minutes of last week's episode, when we got into the movie recommendations, why there was a weird, echo of some sort.
The interface did not like the movies that we recommended.
And that may be what it was. If I'm being honest, I don't even remember what letter was it last week.
H.
H.
Mine was Holes.
Yeah, mine was Heavyweights.
With
I remember
Shia
now.
LaBeouf.
I remember now. Yeah, I don't know what the issue was because it was fine the entire time, and I went to put the outro music on the recording, and I was like, oh, it's popping.
I'm telling you,
that about?
it's the movies that we recommended. So in order to appease the interface, we have done. We talked about this. Randomly selecting a letter for each week.
Yes.
I didn't want to start with, randomly select and then H was the letter for the first week and then just like continue through the alphabet. I think it's more fun to randomize it.
Okay.
And so the interface should be fine because we're doing a different letter and different movies.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a different letter. We'll get to that in a little bit. We did initially land on the letter X, spoiler alert, and then...
Zach didn't like the movie that I recommended.
No. That's not what happened. I went through the list of every movie that begins with the letter X and knew the only thing that I could pick, and I forgot that we talked about we might pick like 3 per letter.
I know, I couldn't come up with
And I asked Hannah, I was like, what movie did you pick? Because I assumed she was just going to pick X-Men.
I thought you would pick X-Men, so I was like, I can't do X-Men.
I know.
So it was either the choice.
No. Here's what you said to me. You said, "Oh, I've got one," and I was like, "What is it?" And you're like, "Why?" And I was like, "What is it?" Because I was like, "I don't want to do the same movie." And she's like, "The X Games movie," and I was like, "Did you even watch that?" And you're like, "Yeah, I think so. I think I did. I don't know."
Well, but the thing is, I don't have the memory that you have when it comes to things that I've seen or heard.
But here's the thing. We're recommending stuff, and I didn't feel right about you being like, I don't know, I might have watched it.
I know I've seen at least part of it because I liked watching stuff like that when I was younger. It's 2009. I was a freshman in high school. Yeah. That was my peak Shaun White watching time.
I mean, I used to watch the X Games like crazy, and there was a thing back in the day that was called the Tony Hawk's Gigantic Skate Park Tour. Tony
Hawk is in the X Games movie.
Yeah, but not as a participant in 2009.
No, but he's in it. He's in the movie.
I was watching the X Games live in 1999 when he did the 900 for the first time. No one had ever done that before in competition. But yeah, they had Tony Hawk Gigantic Skate Park Tour, and he would tour around, and it was like a documentary style thing, and they would just go all over the country. It's him and a bunch of skateboarders and a couple of BMX guys just in a tour bus, and Shaun White was on it as a 13-year-old. Mm-hmm. And that was before he was like snowboarding like crazy and basically picked that over skateboarding. But anyway, we changed letters.
It was either the X Games or Triple X, the Vin Diesel movie.
I've never seen either of those.
I've never seen Triple X.
Okay, well, you can't pick something you've never seen before.
I know. It was that. And then the X-Men, which I was sure that you were going to pick. So I was like, well, these are the only movie. Like, I didn't even know of any of the other movies that were on the list. I'd never heard of them.
Well, there was the X-Files movies, but I've never actually seen the movies of the X-Files. I've seen a lot of the seasons, but...
Didn't you say, like, the X-Files television series, which came first, they got, like, so many seasons in, and then they decided to do a movie, but then when they came back to the following season, it picked up where the movie left off. So if you didn't watch the movie,
you're
lost.
That's what I've been told. That's because I haven't seen the movie.
And apparently they did it again with the second movie?
Yeah, because I have a friend who was really into the X-Files, and he got me to watch it. And I watched up until...
The episode that happened in Chester County?
That's like season 1. No. I watched up until the movie was supposed to happen. So I got to the season break, and then I just never watched the movie, and then I never picked the show back up again. So I don't know, but supposedly, yeah, that's what happened is that they basically pick up from the movie, and if you don't know what happened in the movie, you're going to be missing some plot holes and stuff. And so I haven't done that. So Anyway, we picked a different letter. We randomized it again, and we got the letter E, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, we recorded a day late because 2 reasons. One,
the interface.
The interface needed, I had to go buy a special like SD card, micro SD card for recording so we could have a backup and see if it was the connection to the computer or something or just something weird. I don't know. And also, the Grizzlies season started last night, and we were watching that, and then the challenge later. And so today just made more sense for this week. That's not going to always be the case, but it was opening night for the Grizzlies. I'm going to watch that for sure.
And we needed to make sure that the interface was going to work right.
Yeah, I needed the backup for sure. So
we didn't want any more popping during our movie recommendations because they are very important recommendations.
Yeah, I did have someone reach out, and they were like, you should have picked Hocus Pocus. And I was like, I don't think either of us like that movie. Mm-mm. And I was like, sorry.
We don't celebrate Halloween.
No, and so
I don't do stuff like that.
And I was just like, sorry. I still am fine with my pick for that. Heavyweights is a good movie.
Oh, Holes. Anytime that movie's on, I'm going to stop what I'm doing to watch it.
Well, we stopped what we were doing last night, and we watched the challenge episode 2.
A lot of things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was there's.
Johnny Bananas and Nany made their official entrance.
Well, that was last week. That happened in last week's episode.
I know, but like they actually came in and like joined the audience to wait for whatever TJ was going to tell them. And like Bananas gets up and like says hey to everybody, introduces himself to like the people that he didn't know, like rookies and stuff. He also like in his confessional called himself the GOAT of the challenge.
It's debatable.
It is debatable, but
he's got the most rings by far.
But, you know, we've been saying for a long time, it's honestly, if CT could have kept a level head when he was younger, he would be it.
I think if CT would have not gotten kicked off or sent home, or just if he had done as many seasons as Johnny did back to back to back, like in the heyday of the show, I think CT would have won more. But I mean,
CT's had a better
as it stands.
Season run.
I mean, you say that, but Bananas won the last season he was on. And
what season was that?
I forgot off the top of my head because they all run together.
Total Madness?
I think he won Total Madness. Yeah, but was that the last one he was on? I don't remember. It's these last ones run together. But yeah, I mean he did win the last time. And he hit 7, and then he's kind of just been MIA a little bit. Didn't realize Michelle and Nany were friends as of last season. I guess maybe we saw some of that. I don't remember it.
I don't remember that at all, but they've got to be close enough because Michelle, upon seeing Nany, just assumes that Nany's going to have her back throughout the game now.
Yeah, it's a weird assumption. I'm not exactly sure where all that came from, if I'm being totally honest. I'm sure they are friends.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the show are friendlier in real life than they pretend to be sometimes on the show.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, no.
I mean, I don't know some of these people personally, so I couldn't say.
I do.
Okay, well, I said some of them.
Well, sure, I don't know some of them. We didn't even know some of them's names until this episode.
That's right. So I was right. While Bananas is greeting people, excitedly sees Turbo, yells out his name in a happy tone, and says,
"Well, I think it's more of a like sarcastic."
Well, he was like, "Turbo, you haven't killed anybody yet."
Yeah, again, I think that's.
And Turbo got mad.
Yeah, there's a lot of discourse going on about the Turbo situation, which I mean we're going to get into, but
I mean, like Turbo got immediately upset, and in a confessional calls Bananas the #1 idiot guy.
He said, "I hate banana." Yeah,
and then he says he's like, "I guess it will be okay." Because he likes Nany still.
Yeah,
at this point.
And to Turbo's credit, he did say that like Johnny has won more than anybody, and so
he said he has to give him respect.
Yeah. The Turbo situation is strange. We'll get to it more as it comes along. I do enjoy the kind of like turn that had to happen where Devin and Bananas have to kind of be friends now.
They're stuck rooming together.
I know, and they, like Bananas pushes the bed together just to kind of embrace it. Like again, these guys hated each other a handful of seasons ago.
Yeah, and now Devin's laying on the bed telling Bananas that he's actually kind of glad that he's there.
Well, here's the thing: the rookies have already decided they're going to go after all the vets. Having Bananas and Nany there, that just gives the vets more numbers, and so of course they're going to be happy about that. And again, I think I probably said it before on the show. Like Bananas is a guy that like a lot of people hate, but like in real life, like you probably would really like him. Like this is a game.
He has been on this show for so many years. This is his 12th season.
Way more than that. Way more than that.
Then it's Nany's 12th season.
Yeah, no, he's probably like 22 or something like that.
Okay, but Nany's then the 12 I probably saw in Nany. Anyway, look at how many seasons he's done. How many years this goes back. I mean, he has. In a way, he was made for this game, and in a way, he made the game what it is now. Because I mean, like, remember early seasons when he was on, whoever you voted into elimination was based on merit, and now it's based on politicking. I think Johnny Bananas had a lot to do with that.
21 seasons.
21 seasons. That's a lot.
And that's not even counting the like spin-off like Champs versus stuff.
Those don't count.
I mean, but they're still,
but they don't count.
But they're considered,
but they don't count.
Yeah. So, yeah, Total Madness was the last one he did, and he won.
Hey, look at my little brain! I can't believe I got that right.
Well, I knew he was on Total Madness. I just couldn't remember, and I knew he won that one. I just couldn't remember if he'd done anything since then.
I didn't remember that he won that.
Oh no, I remember.
I just knew that was one of the more recent seasons that he was on.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what happened in the final. I have no idea, but I do remember he won it. Because I believe that was a season where him and Wes just decided they were going to be friends and team up and not tell anybody.
Secret best friends.
So Nany immediately aligns with Tori and Laurel. That's expected.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nany and Tori are friends.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just vets.
Yeah.
It's just like you're gonna do that. I don't remember if at this point. I guess earlier on we kind of skipped over it. Nany asked where Casey was, and I go, she's gone. And Nany didn't know that she wasn't there at that point.
Yeah.
And so that'll come back around in a minute. You know, Nany has this like confessional where she's talking with like the producers, I guess, and she's saying, you know, people might be wondering why I'm doing this show because her mom just passed away, but she's like, my mom would want me to do it. And, you know, you get this, like, emotional thing. And Bananas even talks about how, you know, it was a really tough thing she went through, really unexpected. And I just got to... They played I'll Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie.
That's their best song?
I don't agree with that at all. But I think that's their best album. I think Plans is their best album overall. That came out, like, right when I was in, like, 10th grade or something. And it was, like... I listen to that album all the time, and from top to bottom, I think it's really good. Every once in a while, I'll go back and listen to it, and I mean, I like the album before that with Transatlanticism and all that, and This Is the New Year. But I think Plans kind of like nailed it from front to end. So I love that album. I like that they used it. It's a great song. It's a sad song in the context of what happened.
There was a lot of sadness in this episode.
Yeah.
Because, like, Nany talks about losing her mom, and my gosh, I can't imagine what it's going to be like when our moms...
Okay. Why do you want to bring...
I don't want to bring it up.
Well, you did. You sure did.
I don't want to bring it up because I love our moms so much.
Well, you're the one who just brought it to that.
To take it on another sour, sad, different note, Tori opens up to Devin about how hard it was getting over Jordyn.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she says that Jordyn broke up with her.
Yeah.
I thought she left him.
Well, she said it one way in one thing, and then like a couple minutes later, she said it the opposite way.
Yeah. When initially she said that that he broke up with her, and because I mean, I was like, I didn't know that he was the one that broke up with her.
There's been all kinds of rumors,
Yeah.
and so like it's all unsubstantiated, and it's like some people said that he wanted an open relationship and she didn't want that, and that's what caused it. And some people said she cheated on him, and that's what, like, it's all unfound. Like, we don't know.
Well, and we'll never know because it's not our relationship.
Well, I mean, they may talk about it.
We weren't there, but like she talks about how hard it was. I mean, they were engaged.
Yeah,
and
they got engaged on the show.
They buy a house together, or they lived together.
Yeah, they were living together.
I mean, that's really hard, and so also foreshadowing, because we do know that he's from the cast breakdown that he's on this season.
Yep.
There's no way that she knows that.
No, I showed it in the preview. She was mad at him that he didn't say he was coming on.
So she talks about how sad she was when they broke up. They both agree that she never really got closure. She opens up about how, she was so depressed that she finally came to terms with like seeking professional help.
I saw on Instagram, she said, of all people, Sarah Bareilles posting about how she takes antidepressants is what made Tori go finally just check that out. And she's like, it changed her life.
Yeah. I mean, if medication is what's going to help you, do it. There's no shame in that. If professional counseling is going to help you, I fully encourage that. Like, seeking professional help from a counselor is life-changing, and it can help you be better and do better.
Well, Turbo is already upset with Bananas from the jump.
Yeah, of course he is.
So I don't think he's going to want to go to counseling about any of that. He's just going to be upset at all times. And so Jeyyy, it's again foreshadowing for later in the episode, is working with Johnny and Raven.
Because apparently Jeyyy...
And then I said, and Horacio and whoever his partner is, because I couldn't remember her name.
That's Olivia.
Yeah, no.
Because she's the one that likes Nelson.
It became a focal point later where they kept showing her name. I just couldn't remember because they came in the middle of the last episode.
It helped when they were doing the confessionals and she was wearing a necklace that said Liv.
I didn't even see that.
It was L-I-V. And I was like, oh, Olivia.
Yeah. That's when I wrote that we have some Jordyn drama, like foreshadowing, with Tori was talking about all that stuff. Because I was like, well, we know he's coming.
Well, also what was funny was, Tori was saying how much it helped to, do those things. And Devin, being the comedic relief that he is, said he just crams it all down until he takes that on someone who doesn't deserve it and who is not related to it.
That's what a lot of people do. Yeah, we get to the daily, and right away TJ's like, "Hey, somebody's not here," and he's like, "Well, Emmy decided she didn't want to be here anymore, and so Emmy and Nom are out of here," and so that's.
I was so mad
as soon as that happened.
I was so mad.
As soon as it happened, I told you, I was like, "That's how Casey and her brother are going to come back on the show." I was like, because they got rid of Nom. And so I said this in our Patreon Slack group, patreon.com/MashNetspodcast. I was like, other than maybe Sarah, who like had her partners DQ her on like back-to-back seasons for stuff that she didn't cause, I was like, Nom's had maybe the worst run of luck of stuff that's just been out of his control. Because in the first season, he had a crazy partner in Lolo, and then his back gave out on him.
Yeah.
And so he had to be medically DQ'd.
But Lolo was a bad partner.
She was a bad partner, and she quit earlier in that. But he got to stay for some reason. Anyway, his back went out on him, and then he got sent home. The next season, he was in the first episode.
The prequel to the season. He wasn't in the first official episode.
I think he was.
It was like a preseason opener.
Yeah, but I think all those people, like all the foreign, like non-Americans, were in the house, and Nom was explaining, "Hey, here's kind of how this works." Because whatever, COVID shut down, he's out of there, and he gets sent home.
Because the rumor was Big T brought COVID to Nom and sent Nom home.
Yeah, and what happened apparently was everyone kind of cleared out, and he didn't have it on the front end. And then as soon as they were about to start back up production, they tested him and he had it. So sent him home. Ugh. This season, he's back. He's got a new partner, which we did find out was kind of he didn't really know this girl apparently beforehand. They just kind of got paired up together. And turns out she sucks and she quit immediately. After one day, like she wasn't even involved in any house drama.
No,
she did. It wasn't.
She did one daily challenge and realized that she didn't want to do it.
It wasn't
so
even a crazy daily or anything.
No, they showed a flashback of her like
in the mud,
like flicking mud off of her hand.
It was a daily where you added each other's ages together.
Yeah,
like it was not anything crazy, and so she's gone. So that means Nom's gone again.
So upset about this. Like my first several lines of notes on this daily are all in caps. Just me yelling on my phone. This is not fair to him. This is stupid. I'm gonna be so. I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's not irate, but it's close. If production doesn't give him, yes, it's Iraq. If production doesn't give Nom a call back and just let him have a season where he can perform.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's been really well. I guess last season was, I don't know, it was COVID related, but yeah, he's just had a bad run of it, and
he needs to be on a season where somebody stupid doesn't affect his presence in the game.
That's fine. The first season was his back. Like, that's just a back injury, and they DQ'd him, and I get it. Like, when you have a back, it's
that's a serious injury.
Yeah. So anyway,
he cried.
Probably
his confessional. He was upset. He was crying, and then I almost started crying. Like, well, I'm so upset for him. I want to flip tables.
Well, Horacio and Olivia go first, and he killed. Like, he's just flying through there.
He's good,
and then she did really good too. And then she on a rope swing, I was like, oh no, she's gonna not. And then she like barely grabbed on and climbed her way up, and they worked it out, and they went pretty fast. Like, TJ was really impressed with them.
Good recovery.
And then Turbo and Tamara go next. And
Turbo said that he's actually a movie actor, and he has to show some action.
So he does a front flip, yeah. The thing is, I read today that the reason, apparently, Turbo was so upset the rest of this episode was because Tamara beat him up the ladder and up the thing and thought that was like belittling him. According to Bananas and Tori, for what it's worth.
That may not be true.
I think it could very much be true.
I don't know.
Why? What do you mean you don't know? He thought Laurel like disrespected him and his family by not offering him champagne when she didn't see him. Like, there's definitely a language barrier there. I get it, and I think he's leaning a little bit too much into the like inflated ego side of who he was in the first season when we all loved him.
He was fun.
He was just quiet, and then he would just win and was kind of crazy. But once War of the Worlds 2 came around and he'd won the last season, he was way like in his own head about like, oh, I'm so much better than everybody. And then that's kind of carried over into this season. Nany didn't help things. We'll get to that in a minute. But they DQ Nelson and Norisco. I like that Nelson was showing off and then immediately like falls, but then he catches himself.
He calls himself Scuba Nelly.
I don't remember. Oh,
yeah, he said Scuba Nelly's gonna bring it, and then he talks about how he's been practicing his swimming.
Yeah, I mean he did okay, but Nerys DQ'd. She fell.
Yeah.
The German team fell and DQ'd. Tommy and Annalise DQ. Fessy fell. Didn't even make it to the platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad look for him. And so he DQs. Well, and him and what's Mariah? Is that her name?
I don't know her name.
I think that's her name.
She's like not even been on the show.
Very
yet.
little. Yeah.
I forget that she's here. I forgot Fessy was here.
Yeah. Raven and Johnny DQ. Amber and Chauncey DQ. Laurel and Jack DQ. Michelle and Jeyyy DQ. And then Devin and Tori finish pretty well. And then when we find out, I don't remember the context of it. I just wrote that Devin has had chlamydia several times.
His hands from holding onto the ropes were raw, and he said, it feels like my hands have chlamydia. And Tori was like, why do you know what that feels like? And he was like, I've had it several times.
I guess chlamydia is one of the ones that you can like cure but get it again. It's not like recurring. I really don't know enough about it, but
I don't know.
I know that there's some STDs that you can get and then like stuff will clear it up and then it's gone.
Then is it an STI in that case?
I don't know. I don't know the difference between the two.
D is for disease, I is for infection.
That probably is I. It's probably STI, but it clears it up. But I think you can catch it again. And then there's some though that you get and you just have forever. Yeah. So
good Fall Out Boy music.
Well, that happened before all
I
this.
know. I made a note. This is when it was still good. I used to love Fall Out Boy, but their last few years have been.
They haven't been good since 2005.
Yeah. It's not been good.
So,
BANANY for life.
But they finish real fast.
Yeah. I mean, this is Bananas coming back out of retirement.
Well, he never retired. I mean, you're making quotes, but he never retired.
Everybody's talked about how like his seventh ring
thought
was
he
like
might.
He was going out,
Yeah.
and he's not been back. Like he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, but
because he's been doing other shows on other networks.
But he's never. He was supposed to be on All Stars 3. He never retired.
Well, Bananas has been gone for a minute. Comes back. This is for Nani's win for the season. Finally getting a win.
I feel like you're like really like you're talking in like sentence fragments.
I feel like I'm talking in sentence fragments.
Okay, keep going.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose it again. I mean, like they had to show out for this daily. I mean, coming in being like the big dogs. They have to live up to that.
I expect them to do well. This isn't a crazy date. Like this is not a hard daily compared to a lot of the other ones. It's got some physical stuff to it, but it's not anything insane. So they finish and everyone's waiting, and Teacher's like, "Yeah, we're waiting for the last team," and he keeps saying that. And I was like, Casey and Kenny coming back, and then that's who it was. And I was like, that's got to be because Nam DQs.
Not because of Nam, because Nam's partner quit.
Yeah, but still.
It's not Nam's fault, that's for sure.
I think that is the only reason Kenny and Casey are back. They probably got cleared out of COVID protocol and were allowed to rejoin. But I think if Nam and Emmy had stayed, that
Casey and Kenny would be gone.
I think that they would just write it off at that point. So they went pretty fast, it seems like, but still wasn't fast enough. The winners were Nani and Bananas, kind of like I expected at least. So we go back to the house, and this is, I guess, where the whole like Nani and Turbo thing blows up. Nani goes in to talk to Turbo to say like, "Hey, I've heard that you're saying you want to go in. What's the deal?" And then Turbo doesn't want to talk about it. Nani, when she gets agitated, makes things worse. She gets loud. She gets frustrated.
She gets in your face.
Turbo, when he doesn't want to talk and someone's yelling at him about, he's getting more and more frustrated. And it's just like a combination of like two things that are not going to gel together. And I get that Nani was maybe trying to remain calm. She got worked up eventually because she kept
putting her fingers and her hands like not right in his face, but very close.
She was getting frustrated.
That like if I were on the receiving end of her doing that, it would make me very angry.
Yeah,
and I'm not one to get mad, but when somebody puts their fingers or their hands in my face, I will get very angry.
Yeah, so he was already upset, and that just made it worse. And then she's like looking to people. She's like, "Am I crazy here?" And I was like, "That's not making it any better."
Nope.
And
it just turns into them arguing.
Yeah, and I get that Turbo was cutting her off, but she was making it bad. And it was just like, it's just stop talking. Like everyone just walk away.
She got worked up really quick.
Yeah. So
they
Turbo,
separate.
Well, Turbo before that says, "I don't like this talk style," and then just walks off.
I don't either.
Yeah. I didn't either. I didn't enjoy watching it either.
But like they separate. Like he walks off and he just does not want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
He walks off and then she goes to somebody and his partner,
Tamara.
Yeah, and says like she's like looking for validation. Like he's the worst communicator in the world, which she's not good either. And then Turbo walks up to them, completely ignores her, and says to his partner to be ready to go into elimination.
Yeah. And he's not wrong. Like, I think that they'd made up that because people on this season were already kind of over his attitude, it seems. He's definitely on the outside looking in.
He got into it with Laurel before they even got to the house.
Yeah.
And then he got into it with Devin, who was trying to joke around with him.
It's just
and then he was kind of almost going to get into it with Bananas when they first got there.
Turbo is just unhinged. But I like waffle back and forth because I'm like, to one degree, like, this guy just takes it way too personally. On the other hand, I would much rather have someone like that who's fun to watch and who you never know what's going to happen than to have like Casey and Fessy and some of these people like that that are just going to be flies on the wall. Who cares if they're there or not?
I mean, at the end of the day, Turbo is providing entertainment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so
he makes you want to watch to see what's going to happen.
So they're on the outside looking in. And basically, Nany and Bananas want to pick one, Johnny and Raven, because they already said they're going after all the vets, and then Turbo and Tamara, obviously. And then they want to pick out people who are working with Johnny and Raven, so Jeyyy and Michelle, because Jay had already said to camera and also shown by his actions, like he's riding with Johnny and Raven, and like those are his team, and then they pick Horacio and Olivia, and they both are like, we both like these guys a lot. Like, this is nothing against them.
They just don't know where they stand.
And they did well
so
in the daily.
It's an opportunity to kind of pick their brains in, like, Nany kept saying interrogation.
That's what it's called.
I guess that's what it was.
No, that's literally what it's called.
Oh, okay.
The next thing is called the interrogation.
Well, regardless, I mean, Bananas was right. He told her they need to nominate 3 teams that are strong and working together, because worst case scenario, you get one of those teams out. Best case scenario, you get 2 of those teams to go against each other.
Yeah. So in the interrogation, Michelle just waterworks, crying right away.
She took their nomination as a personal attack.
Yeah, and Jay was like, I don't know if this is how she won Survivor, because this is incredible, because I don't even understand why she's this upset.
Well, Jay tells Bananas that he hasn't done anything to him, and then Bananas in turn explains how Jay is super close with Johnny and Raven, and how, that alone is enough. And then Michelle cries more and tells Nany that she saw her as a sister, and she's like, I can't believe you've done this.
And Nany, to her credit, like, did remain calm and all this, and she's like, well, look, this is a game part. I'm friends with you in real life. You got to understand, like, this is completely different from that. And so I didn't even write anything about Raven and Johnny.
Well, Bananas, the only other note I have is Bananas said to Johnny and Raven, if you're swinging for the fence, we're the fence.
Yeah. Well,
which is true.
I just wrote that when Turbo and Tamara came in, that after like 30 seconds, Turbo just stands up and starts wandering around the room like he's trying to find a door to leave. And then he just walks out. And I was like, Tamara looks like she's like a hostage in this situation. Like,
yeah, Turbo got up and started walking out. And Tamara did not move. She looked like she wanted to sit there and try and...
I think she knows, like, oh, we're making a TV show. We're supposed to talk this stuff out.
I think she wanted to talk to Nany and Bananas and see if she could kind of make up for some of it that had happened and convince them to choose another team.
No chance.
But she never said anything. And then Turbo told her...
She just, like, lingered in front of the table and was, like, looking at them and then looking up at Turbo.
Yeah. And then he tells her that they're leaving, and she's like very hesitant to leave the table.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
I feel bad for her because she just got put in a weird situation. So go to the night out. I guess we're going to have a night out every episode.
Also, there's no way that they're dating.
Who?
Turbo and...
No, they're not. Again, that was the whole thing is like, oh, it's his girlfriend, but it's not his girlfriend in real life.
There's no way. She acts like she doesn't know him.
Yeah, she's like really like...
she does not know this person. She doesn't know how to talk to this person.
The way that he's acting is a complete surprise to her. And if you would have like spent like a lot of time with Turbo,
enough to like start dating them, you would know.
You would have known how to like mitigate and like roll with this situation. She
and
has
and
no
also
idea.
you would know how to talk to him to bring him back down.
She just shuts down. And so in the night out, we kind of get a Horacio and Laurel connection that I did not expect at all.
I didn't either. It's like when Laurel did the weird toe thing with Bear. I'll never forget that.
I forgot about that. I told you, I was like, I think Horacio is probably one of the better looking guys on the cast.
My notes call him Cutie Pie Horacio.
Yeah. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Because he's probably, honestly, like 25 or 26, but he's got like cute little baby face, so he looks even younger than that.
Let's see, how old is he? Horacio Gutierrez, 26, from El Paso, Texas.
That's a good area.
So yeah, he's younger than her for sure, because she's probably like 33 or 34 or something like that.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's not like at this point, like who cares?
Well, his partner Olivia approves of it, and says Laurel is probably the kind of girl that he needs.
Oh, Laurel's 37.
Yeah, Laurel is very straightforward. If she likes you, she's gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, I like you."
Yeah.
And Olivia, who's like one of Horacio's like really close friends, said that he honestly probably needs a woman like that in his life, and he's like, "Yeah, probably." So this may turn into something.
We'll see. That it wouldn't be like the most unexpected relationship we've ever seen on the show.
Laurel's got a pretty face.
Yeah, no, I think Laurel's pretty. I just, I don't know. He's new and a lot younger, and I just never expected it, but who knows?
Hey, it's okay.
Also, like, I don't know. I was about to say, I thought that maybe she had said that she was a lesbian at one point, but she may just be bisexual. I really don't know. I know that like X on the Peak and stuff was the situation. That was why she was there.
Oh, she was dating a girl?
Yeah. And that's how she met Jack, is on X on the Peak. And
okay.
That's what I've been told. I haven't watched that season. But maybe I guess, she's bisexual and she now likes Horacio, and that's fine. It's just a pairing that I never would have put together. If you would have given me everyone on this cast, it would have been in like the bottom 10% if I would have put them together.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I just not because I don't think that they work together. It's just they're on so polar opposites of the show. Yeah. And he is very timid and she's not. And
he probably needs somebody like that. Yeah, and that may be the kind of personality that she's looking for.
We'll see. I did see on Twitter that Nerys has said, MTV, can you please stop showing me liking this guy? Because I guess she doesn't like him in real life now.
Oh,
Johnny or whatever.
Also, at the night out, Michelle kind of comes to talk with Nany again.
Yeah, they work things out.
Michelle tells Nany that she understands that she kind of, in a way, has to suffer the consequences of having Jeyyy as her partner because his best friend is the one that's throwing them all under the bus and putting a big target on their backs.
I don't know if they're best. They are close, it seems.
Well, everybody keeps saying that that's his best friend.
Well, I mean, they're not even like... Typically, from what I've seen on these challenge shows, like the ones you're really close with are the ones you've done like shows with in the past, and they're not from the same show at all.
I thought they had done something together.
Maybe they had. I know Jeyyy was from Survivor. Maybe they did something post Survivor together. But after Michelle and Nany work their stuff out, Michelle is then trying to tell Jeyyy to cut ties with Johnny just for like game's sake, like because they're going to be targeted if not, which is true.
Mm-hmm. And so like she's trying to coerce him that like, hey, we need to put some distance between us and them. And Jeyyy is like, I know, but he's my friend. I mean,
Jeyyy had an interesting outfit on in that confessional during this time.
Gosh, don't get me started.
With the like brown.
I hated it so
brown
much.
And like black button up, and then like a brown like bandana that he had pulled back over, like how like bikers used to do when they would like wear helmets.
Yeah, it was really
My
bad.
cousin used to dress like that in high school, but this was also, to be fair, like 2003. He would do that a lot. Bandana tied over the top, tied around the back.
Well, I can picture it.
Yeah. No, he did. But to his credit, that was 19 years ago. It's not right now.
Yeah.
It's a strange look to me. I don't do that.
I'm glad you don't do that.
I could try though. I
don't want you to. It's okay.
I'm
fine if you never do that.
I'm pretty sure Jeyyy and I are like the same age. So maybe
that doesn't matter.
I'll call him. We'll work it out.
I don't want you to call him.
So in the elimination, Banani picks Turbo and Tamara. Duh, we all knew that. And so they do the dagger thing, and for the second week in a row, the last team gets the safe dagger.
It wasn't in the same spot.
No, but it was the last team that got it again. Like the odds of that are just kind of strange. But so Jeyyy and Michelle get the safety dagger.
Ooh, Michelle tries to tell him.
She's whispering like, "Please, like, just save the other team, save Horacio and Olivia, so it doesn't look like we're straight up aligned with Johnny and Raven."
I know, and you can tell Jeyyy was torn because he's aware that being tied publicly to Johnny and Raven puts a big target on their backs, but also he keeps saying how Johnny's his best friend and he made a promise.
To me, Jeyyy is not the brains of the operation, if I could put it nicely that way.
Of this team?
Of any team he's ever been on.
Oh. I wonder what he'd think about that.
I don't know. I'll ask him whenever I ask about the bandana. But at the end of it, he just like TJ's like, "Come on, you're taking forever," and he just speaks for both of them, and he's like, we're gonna save Johnny and Raven.
And Michelle is shaking her head.
Yeah,
she was not down with this choice.
So they save that. So that means Horacio and Olivia have to go in, and it's called Memory Lane. It's basically just a big, memory board, and you just have to match up the pieces.
I used to be really good at these.
Well, here's the thing. I saw a handful of people in our Slack group that were a little upset about. We've talked about this in the past. People on the sidelines helping.
I mean, that's been a thing for 20 years.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing. Like I don't know how you would get rid of it at this point. And so this is just straight. Literally everyone up there is helping Horacio and Olivia.
I mean, Nani and Bananas were the first ones.
Bananas, and then Devin, and then Laurel. So three of your like stronger puzzle people.
But that's also a political move on their end, because not only are they getting rid of Turbo and Tamara, who would, if they won, come back and immediately gun for
but who cares?
Johnny and Nani. But not only are you getting rid of them, but Olivia and Horacio, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're super aligned with the rookies.
Well, no, they were in that room with Johnny and Raven and Jeyyy earlier in the episode, and they all kind of put their hands in like, "Oh, we're working together."
But this may swing them.
I agree with that, but it's kind of, they're kind of like 50-50, I think. So anyway, they win easily. Like they won, like it wasn't even close, because literally everyone up there was helping them, and no one was talking to Turbo and Tamara.
I mean, in the middle of it, Turbo said, he hears it and he says, "It's okay. Not surprising. It's me versus every challenger."
Yeah. And so they lose. They get sent home. I had it spoiled for me that Turbo was probably going home, because we were about 45 minutes behind, and I was looking for some post-game stuff on the Grizzlies on Twitter, and I followed Devin on my personal account, and he just said, "Smell you later, Turbo." And so I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure Turbo goes home. And so when Turbo, his exit interview, he just says, "I don't have really anything to say. I just have 2 words and 1 finger."
But then he goes on to say that he still hopes that Nani wins this season.
So there's been some speculation. I've been watching our Slack group, and some people think that he's playing a character, and other ones think that it's just how he is. And I don't know where I fall on it, honestly. Like if he is playing this side of himself up, he needs to dial it back. Because you're gonna be the odd man out at all times. like this because you won't work with anyone.
Well, even TJ said after the elimination was over, he looked at everybody and he said, "This is why it pays to have friends."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, literally no one wanted them to stay around and wanted to be there. So TJ does the whole, hey, is somebody in the bushes who's coming through here?
I'm still feeling friendly.
Yeah. And it's Jordyn, but not Aneesa.
Well, so TJ announces, "Hey, I'm still feeling friendly. We got somebody else coming in." Tori immediately excited. Devin almost dreading it in a way, like their reactions to it.
Well, you already know Johnny and Nani. I mean, Bananas and Nani came in, and so that right there lowers everyone else's risk of winning a final by having that team there.
Yeah.
And so you figure, it's probably gonna be someone else who's gonna be tough to go against. It could be CT, could be, like, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Jordyn is about a worst case scenario for anyone watching. However, at this point, they don't know that his partner is going to be Aneesa, which is going to severely handicap their team.
Yeah.
If it was, here's my speculation, and I think I told you this last night. The reason they only announced Jordyn is because Naya was supposed to be his partner. That's been talked about online. She got sent home, I'm assuming COVID, something like that. And Aneesa wasn't there yet. And they had to have them in for that sequence. So they just introduced Jordyn, and he doesn't have a partner. So they're acting like he's this, like, lone, like,
wolf.
Yeah, he's like a free agent who's just going to, like, do whatever he wants. And there's no way. I guarantee you the next daily Aneesa's going to show up.
I guarantee if it was an option where, like, they needed another team and they couldn't get another person, it was like just Jordyn, he would be more than happy to do it alone.
Oh yeah, he's the type who'd be like, oh yeah, I'll beat everybody.
Yeah,
but
everybody else has a team.
Different than the way Turbo would be, but yeah.
But yeah, so originally Tori's excited, Devin's kind of dreading it. Then Jordyn out comes Jordyn, and their reactions are almost swapped.
Yeah,
and then they're both just in shock.
Yeah. It's. I would put money on when we get to the next daily. TJ back, I'm feeling friendly again, or so look who's here, Jordyn's partner, and it's going to be Aneesa coming through. We get a little preview of, like, what's coming next episode, and Tori's like, how come you didn't tell me you were going to be here? We'll talk about that.
You knew that I was going to be here, but I didn't know you were going to be here.
So that's how the episode ends.
That's going to be a rough episode to watch for them.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she's on her antidepressants. I would hope she is at.
Well, she said that she's medicated.
Yeah, so that would help kind of, like, make things a little bit more even keel. Because I don't feel like he would blow up on her.
I don't think he would either. But again, she and Devin both said that she never got closure. So I don't know. Maybe this is her.
Her sorry for 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a big Ruben Studdard fan.
I mean, I don't know who isn't. That's my American Idol.
Yeah, you're a big. That's my type. Like, you just like to say that. Like, that's my president.
Not one of those.
Okay. Well, I don't have anything else to say about this episode. Superlatives for this one. Who smashed some heads?
TJ, by bringing in so many new players this episode. Johnny Bananas and Nani, then Casey and
I count Johnny and Nani the last episode.
Then Jordyn.
Well, you can't count Jordyn in this episode and Johnny and Nani in this episode. It's one or the other.
I can do whatever I want. It's my smashed heads.
I think you're getting a little loose with the numbers on that one.
I get to pick.
I'm going to give it to Horacio specifically. One, killed the daily to where TJ was like flabbergasted, turned around and was like, you guys seeing this? And two, might hook up with Laurel. Three, won his first elimination, even though he had a lot of help.
And it was against Turbo. And when he won, he did a front flip off
he landed on his back.
But it was like a Turbo move. When you win or you finish.
Do you think he was taunting him? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But it was like a Turbo move.
Yeah. So that's my pick. Who got their head smashed?
Tori, when she saw her ex-fiance walk in.
bad pick on your part.
Why?
Nom. It's Nom.
I'm trying to not think about that.
I thought 100% you were going to pick Nom.
No, it wouldn't be Nom. It would be me.
Well, either or related to Nom because he got sent home for something that he didn't even have any.
It's so stupid that I don't even want to think or talk about it anymore.
Well, that's mine for sure. So let's get into the movies for
the week.
Well, yeah. Well, for the letter is E this week after we switched off of X because we weren't gonna. The only way I would have 3 X movies if I went X-Men 1, X2, and then X3.
And then I would do X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse.
There's another one.
X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
We could have done that.
But those aren't great. Like they're okay. And I haven't watched the original ones since the early 2000s, so those might not hold up as much. So do you have yours in any sort of an order? Like we did 3 each, right?
Yeah.
So do you have like a 1, 2, 3?
Not a 1, 2, 3. Mine are
3, 2, 1.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, do you want to start with like your third pick, then we'll go back and forth?
Yeah, I'll do my third pick because I can pick number 3 out of this.
Okay.
The Emperor's New Groove.
I thought you would probably pick that.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I love that movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's good. Came out in 2000.
I used to have a PlayStation demo disc that had an Emperor's New Groove game on it.
Really?
Yeah. And I played that demo a lot.
Did you pull the lever?
Huh?
Pull the lever.
I don't remember. I don't even know what that's a reference to.
It's from the movie where she's like,
that
Kronk, pull the lever. And he pulls the wrong lever.
I don't remember.
And then there's like the potion that's supposed to kill Cusco.
Is this in that like dreamscape type thing where they're on like a roller coaster looking thing? Am I making this up?
No, they're on a roller coaster and she tells him to pull the lever and it's the wrong one.
So I kind of remember that, but for me, my third one, I don't think you've probably seen my third one. It's
probably not.
Ernest Goes to Camp.
No, I haven't seen it.
I used to watch that movie a lot for some reason when I was younger.
I bet I haven't seen your number 1 pick either.
I think you have. But that's my third pick. I didn't have a lot of movies that I could watch growing up. My parents were very overprotective on what we watched and stuff.
And my parents were underprotective of what I watched.
And so Ernest Goes to Camp for some reason was one that we had, and I watched a lot. And that's gonna be. I don't have any other Ernest movies. I didn't pick 3 Ernest movies.
Okay,
I could have.
you could have.
I did.
There's plenty.
What's your second one?
My second one is Enola Holmes. Came out in 2020. I actually was telling you about this movie the other day.
It like an Apple movie or something?
No, it was. I watched it on Netflix.
Was it a Netflix original movie?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It came out in 2020. It's Millie Bobby Brown as Enola Holmes, and then her older brother Sherlock Holmes is Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I thought it was just a straight to streaming thing. I think it is.
If it is, then I think it's a Netflix film. But
yeah.
It's actually really good, and the sequel is supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, I saw they were working on another one, but I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
My second pick, I don't think you've seen this, is a movie called End of Watch.
No, I haven't watched
Jake
it.
Gyllenhaal and I forgot his partner's name. He's a Hispanic guy that's in all kinds of stuff.
Character actor?
Yeah, it's a guy that you know, but I don't.
But he's
know.
a character actor, so it's hard to remember their names.
Yeah, Michael Pena. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah,
he's in all kinds of stuff.
I know. I was like, he's in it.
Is that Anna Kendrick?
Yeah, I don't remember her being in it if I'm being honest. But basically, they're just 2 cops, and it's kind of like a really gritty, like in your face cop drama, and it's not easy to watch from what I remember, but okay. I like stuff like that.
Well,
so.
I really like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal. So,
I like pretty much anything he does.
Yeah.
I did not watch the movie that he did with Tobey Maguire, where like it was like Tobey Maguire went to war and supposedly died. So Jake Gyllenhaal is his brother and comes and
it's just called Brothers.
Marries
that movie's
Tobey Maguire's
crazy too. I haven't seen
wife,
that either.
and then Tobey Maguire comes back home and he's like trying to kill his brother. He's like, "Why did you do that?" Yeah, I know all about the movie, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, I do want to watch that. I haven't watched that one either. But yeah, End of Watch is really good from what I remember. I don't want to give away what happens in it. It's just pretty intense. I saw it like right when it came out. What's your first pick?
Guess.
Elf.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that's what it was going to be.
I love that movie. I almost watched it the other day because it is October, and that means it's almost Christmas.
What do you think my number one pick is?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, and have you
I
not
have
seen
never watched that movie, but you talk about it all the time.
I think it might be my favorite movie.
So
of all time.
when you said it was e-movies, I pulled up.
Well, I didn't pick that. That was randomized.
Well, I know, but you informed me that the randomizer picked e-movies, and I pulled up the list, and that was one that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's his number one pick, 100%.
Yeah, I've probably said on the show many times. I think that's my favorite movie of all time. I haven't watched it in a long time. We need to watch it.
I don't know if I want to watch it.
Why?
I don't know. From what you've told me, I don't know that I want to watch it.
What does that mean? It's Jim Carrey in a role where he's like in a past relationship with Kate Winslet, and Kirsten Dunst and Mark Ruffalo are in it, and basically it's like there's this like first of all, Michel Gondry is the director, and he's like he does a lot of like weird like trippy type visual stuff, and it's basically they've invented a way to like wipe out your memories so you don't, like, for people who went through bad breakups or traumatic stuff, it's a way that they can knock that out, and then you won't remember it anymore, so that way you're not going to like dwell on the past and like get depressed and things like that. So Jim Carrey's very depressed, and he's trying to remove the memories of Kate Winslet, but what's happening is while they're actively trying to remove it, he's in his memories, and he's like trying to hide and run away with her so he doesn't forget her. It's such a cool concept, and it's done so well. And Jim Carrey is not funny at all in it. He's very depressed and very low key. I think it may be the best role he's ever done. And it's just, I think Elijah Wood is in it. It's a really like
big cast.
Yeah, but a lot of those people play smaller roles. But it's so we may watch it tonight. But yeah, it is one of my favorite movies for sure. I'd say it's much better than Elf, but I know that's subjective.
That is your opinion.
I will say probably more people like Elf than they like Eternal Sunshine.
According to the Constitution, you're allowed to have your opinion, no matter how wrong it may be.
So that's mine. I do want to. The only reason we haven't watched it is because I thought we already had like years ago.
No. You have it on DVD, and you've picked it up and told me, oh, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And you'll tell me the premise of the movie, and then you put it down.
Well, we're going to watch it.
And then like 8 months go by, and you bring it up again, and you're like, oh, this is such a good movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Here's what happens in it.
Well, we're going to watch it then.
This has been going, like, this cycle has been going on for years.
Clearly but you never like say, oh, well, I haven't seen it. I don't think you've ever told me until just now that you've not ever seen it.
Yes, I have, because the first time we ever talked about it, you're like, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, no, I've never seen that.
Maybe you said the first time, like.
But the thing is, you keep telling me the premise of the movie. I feel like I've already watched it.
It's not even. There's so much other things that happen. So, we're gonna watch that. We'll hopefully be back next Wednesday. It was just this week we had some technical stuff we had to get done, and so it had to get pushed to Thursday. But we will see you guys for Ride or Die episode 3.
Stay cute.